What's up, everybody? Shawn here, back with another live to roll for you. We got a cool show. Finally got our friend David on the show here. So we'll get into some intros, let him introduce himself, and talk a little bit about his story and what it's like dealing with colitis and having a spinal cord injury. So lots of,
Some diversity.
yeah,
Diversity.
yeah, I know. He did call us out in the chat a couple times about being a bunch of white guys here talking about. So, uh, and now we're like the old white guys too, except for Tom, the only youthful one on here.
Yeah, but Tom is actually older than you, Shawn, in Crip years. So
True, he
be
Yep.
is.
careful.
I'm an old soul. That's all right.
There you
Uh,
go.
but all right, guys. So yeah, like I said, I'm Shawn. I'm a C5, C6 quadriplegic from a snowboarding accident 21 years ago now. Actually, now I can actually officially say
Yeah,
it.
there you go. Happy life birthday there, Shawn.
Yeah, it was just last Friday. It was cool. And yeah, looking forward to another great 21 years.
Yeah,
uh, Bobby, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
yeah, absolutely. I'm Bobby Rohan. I'm a C5, C6, like Shawn and Tom here. Uh, Southern California, living life. I don't want to make it about myself. Shout out to my mom up there. I lost my mom on Thursday, so you know
All right.
I'm glad she's not suffering and hurting anymore. She suffered from long-term Parkinson's, and she will be missed. So, Shawn, thank you so much for reaching out and everybody and all the friends. I appreciate it. So, but let's get on a better note there. Let's go move it over to Tom.
Well, first of all, condolences, Bobby. I
Hey,
know she's looking down, smiling, super proud of her awesome boy. And just gonna be keeping you and your family in my thoughts and prayers,
thank you.
for sure. So sending you lots of love, man. I'm Tom Conaway. I'm a C6B quadriplegic for the last something 20 something years. Um, and yeah, excited to talk to an old friend, a friend I haven't seen in far too long. And
Mhm.
Mr. Washington, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm David Washington. I'm an L1, L2 incomplete paraplegic. I've been injured for 32 years this past January. And yeah, I got colitis.
And I got
And I got colitis.
Well, you're
Oh,
much more than that. You're an incredible artist. You're very knowledgeable in all things, not just disability, and your experience with that. And yeah, David is a really awesome, incredible dude who's got lots and lots of different talents and lots to teach and offer to the world. So we're very excited to have you here to share some of that with us today.
Thank you.
hey, David, before we get going, and we're going to talk about colitis and what does it do to someone who's chairbound, but looking at your kitchen, is this your place?
It's my
And
place.
it's your place. So I'm noticing a couple things. If that's the refrigerator next to you, I'm noticing it a
Yeah.
little bit smaller.
It's a,
Refrigerator,
yeah.
you got the pans that are reachable. It seems like pretty accessible kitchen there, and Tom does our cooking show on Wednesday. So tell us a little bit about your kitchen setup there before we get
Well,
going.
well, basically,
Can
I
I
just moved into an apartment end of August of last year, and it's totally accessible. It's a studio. They're about to upgrade me to a one bedroom, and what else? Totally accessible. The bathrooms, all the units, whether disabled or regular, they're all handicap accessible. The bathrooms are all huge. The doors are all widened. Everything is like accessible. So if you get the disabled apartment, you can get a regular apartment, and it's still just as accessible as the disabled.
Yeah, so
Just
meaning so you can
go.
go see your other apartment or condo mates there, and you don't have to worry about the bathroom being small or anything.
No, everybody here, every apartment is elderly accessible and disabled accessible. And I'm actually giving a speech because this is the grand opening for our apartment where all the people who built it, the housing authority and all these other people in LA are going to come, and I give my speech of how I got into this apartment and how, making apartments more accessible, like across the board, like building, like retrofitting, if you do one thing, you have to do everything. And now going forward, making all the apartments accessible, whether you're elderly or disabled or able-bodied, is now the new mode of the new operation that you're trying to do. But I found out that the ADA, the state, and local all have different requirements for disability. So they're trying to get them streamlined all into one thing. Where right now it's the ADA has rules, heights, the state has heights, and wherever you live has their requirements for disability. But they're not all the same. So they're all constantly fighting each other and say, no, this is the standard. No, this is the standard. And now they're trying to streamline it.
And how did you find out about this apartment?
Fair Housing Council. I was homeless for like 3 weeks, and then I was in the hospital for like 2 years. And the Fair Housing Council, I found them after like 6 months. And Sandy Couch from the Fair Housing Bureau or whatever, she got me this place. She cut through all the bullshit and like got me in, where everybody else was just passing the buck. So everything you hear on the news about homelessness and they're fixing it, it's all a lie.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize you were in the hospital for 2 years.
Yeah, nursing care sucks.
Yeah.
So stay in.
Yeah, stay out of it. Wow.
Yeah.
To go through. I'm glad you're on the other side. You got your nice new apartment. That's accessible, dude. That is great to hear.
Yeah, no carpet. All hardwood, so no carpet. So I'm
Are you like closer to downtown or are you in the valley?
I'm in the valley. I'm in Panama City, right, like 2 blocks from Kaiser, Panama City, right on Lanark and Van.
There you go.
So I'm between my 2 hospitals, Northridge, up Roscoe, down Roscoe's Kaiser. So I'm like, perfect.
There you go.
That is convenient. That's awesome, man. Do you want to tell also a little bit more about your pastor? We talked a little bit about like you're, avid like martial artist. You're an artist. You're, creating, going to school right now for, being film, or you're doing like directing. I guess I was actually going to ask you what in film you do want to do. Directing is that's what.
Well, my undergrad I got from Cal Arts in character animation, and in the industry I'm like a storyboard artist. And basically, that's the next progression as a storyboard artist is like you give me the script and I show you how you're going to shoot it by drawing it all out, and then that naturally lends to directing. So I'm going to AFI to get my directing reel, because if I did it outside of school, it'd be $250,000, and I think I'll pay like $60 a year at AFI for 2 years, and I get it for $120. The director reel is what get you work, basically.
Okay.
But
go ahead.
But early on, you got into arts really early after your injury. Like, if I remember correctly, like 3 years after your injury, you're always into the arts. So and I know you went to art school, and I think you got a good deal out of that. Is that correct?
Yes, I went to Cal Arts. Cal Arts was founded by Walt Disney, and their Apex program was character animation. So it's basically like a pipeline where 99% of the animated films you see now are directed by Cal Arts alumni. It's like the mob. If you didn't go to arts, you're not going to direct in animation, at least.
And so did that land you work when you were after that program?
I did a lot of freelance, but I didn't get my first like credit gig until like 2019, and it was for like a live action. And then once I got that, I was like, I think it's time to go back to get my film reel. And then the Academy made a new rule in 24 that if you want your film to be considered for Best Picture, you have to have people from underrepresented groups in the production, whether pre-production, production, or post-production, in front of the camera, behind the camera, it doesn't matter. And it's proportionate to the size of the crew. So if it's 1,000 people in this movie production, 200 got to be from an underrepresented group.
Wow.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's that they do that actually.
But it's not like all films. So if you're just doing a regular buddy cop film and you just want to make money, you can have whoever you want. But if you're going for Best Picture, there's a chance for people who are not legacy, meaning their families in the industry, can get a chance to get in, basically.
Interesting.
That is interesting. It's really cool. I never knew that was a thing, one of the stipulations for Best Picture.
Well, it just went into effect in 24. This is new.
Brand new. Okay, cool.
I learned about it in 19. I knew it was coming in 24, and they had all kind of medical housing issues. And now I'm getting back on schedule, and it happened in 24. If I didn't get sick, I probably would be in my last year of film school this year. I'll be graduating this if everything went right. But everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, a little behind the 8 ball, but you're going to catch up.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And this, especially with streaming now, it's more opportunities if you got the goods to get yourself out there. Before it was just like the major studios, they had their system, but now with streaming, Netflix, Hulu, Prime, and all the other ones, it's like if you can get an audience and you got the stuff, you're gonna get a chance now. Before it was like never. Now it's like if you can do the work, you can grind, and you're a people person, team player. This is your time now.
That's so cool, man. I hope. I really hope we get to see a David Washington directed full feature at some point here in the future.
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
I can't
I'm
wait.
doing it now to make sure everything's tight, and then when I get out, I'm gonna have 5 professionally done short films, and let the games begin.
Awesome, man. For like that kind of stuff, is there any advice you could give anybody out there that might be like kind of interested also in getting into like some part of the film industry, anything like that? Like it might not be the same thing you want, but any other.
I would say if you're going into the film industry, the first rule, you don't really need to go, but you don't want to. You can't. There's no. How can I put it? Room for error, because once you're in the industry, you can't mess up. If they're paying you to do a job and you can't say, well, I didn't know, or I'm self-taught, it's kind of like you want to go to school if you don't have the connection. I know guys who didn't go to school but grew up on film sets. So it's like, you don't have to go. So it depends on your background. If you're coming in as the first generation, I would highly recommend you go to school. If you have family in, then you don't have to go because you've already been on sets. You know the professionalism, you know what's at stake, and all that stuff. But if you're coming in fresh and you're the first generation, I strongly recommend going to a highly touted school like Cal Arts or AFI or Art Center or something like that, because they don't know you. And you need the pedigree with the skill to kind of say, look, I battled here, I can battle here type of thing. They don't like to take people cold off the street. There's no front door entrances.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's good to know. So that's good for people. And honestly, school and things like that, it can be a great outlet for people to do anyways. I feel like a great place to learn, to network, to connect as well for people out there.
I think to network is good, but it just gives you a chance to learn your craft and be able to make mistakes and not cost you professionally. That's what that's what school's for. That you can learn your techniques, you can learn your stuff, and then when you get out, you're ready to compete. Where if you didn't compete at that level, it's like basically going from the schoolyard to the NBA. It's going to be too much of a learning curve because you went from really no competition to the best in your world of competition. So you kind of want to give yourself that kind of like pacing where you're like, okay, I know where I stand type of thing.
Go play in for a couple years.
Yes.
Sorry.
Outside of the academic value of schooling like that, it's a great place to socialize too, and just engage with other people. Sometimes that's not the easiest thing to do, but going to school is really a great way to expose yourself to some social situations and engage in more socialization.
Oh yeah, but I would say this though, particularly for animation, you have to go to school. Like, there's no way around it. It's too hard. The teachers even tell you, even after you graduate, you still have another 5 to 6 years to be an animator. Like, it's very labor intensive. Where when people think of art school, art department, they party all the time. Character animations in the film and video, you're gonna work. They even tell you if you sleep 8 hours a night, quit. There's easier ways to make money. Go to truck school.
Wow.
Uh,
So yeah, but I just want to get that out there because a lot of people think. I mean, we did party a lot, but art department, that's like the wild kids. Character animation is like nerds who want to like make money. So it's like a different mentality.
It's a serious, more bunch of guys and gals.
Yes. Yeah.
And so when you start, are you going to have to? Are you going to an actual college? Where are you going or headed to?
Right now I'm at UCLA screenwriting program, and then it's like 2 year program, and then 2 years at AFI American Film Institute
And where is that?
in Hollywood.
In Hollywood.
It's
Okay.
one film school in the country. It's like
Wow.
just look up AFI. It's like any movie you've seen in the last 5 years probably came out of AFI graduates. It's like who's who in Hollywood, basically.
yeah, I've seen the thing. I've heard of it plenty before and seen it on the like the start of like some of the, even films and stuff. Sometimes it says like the AFI thing. I feel like, or maybe I'm just thinking of
Yeah,
somebody.
yeah, they always do like tributes to like,
Yeah,
oh, the
yeah.
life
I was like,
war for
I've seen it
such
pop
actor
up on the
or
screen,
director. So
The
yeah,
tribute.
but
Say that again, David. The tribute to what?
like they'll do a tribute to Nicole Kidman or Tom Cruise or
Oh,
Robert De
okay.
Niro.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
AFI will be like AFI presents something something to somebody.
I see.
But if you once you get off, just look at AFI. You'll see when they show you their alumni. You're like, oh, okay, that's why. It's like you get like a really high chance of working in the industry because of the industry, basically.
Yeah.
all right, let's.
Quick
So,
shout out Daryl in the chat. Hi, Daryl, and also everyone else in the chat too. Just wanted to make sure to get Daryl since he shouted me out.
And Grisella, she asked about when we would love to have you on and talk about online Zumba. So and talk about online fitness. So Shawn, we're gonna have to.
yeah,
Um,
I'll try to reach out and I'm trying
yeah.
to plan shows for March and April right now. So I'm like, I have this month pretty much planned out and scheduled. So we'll
Sweet.
start working for next, yeah,
Sweet.
March, April shows going. But
Gonna
yeah,
get on,
get the what off?
get our Zumba on, baby.
I know.
Get our Zumba on. Yeah.
We'll have to, maybe we'll work it out so we can all do a short Zumba workout with her.
That would be the show. If we could do 15 minutes of Zumba live.
Well,
On
later you can have David on at the same time. That we're gonna have to have you on too, David. See
Sure,
your.
I'll be back.
I know. Hey, let's talk about some other arts. Shawn mentioned martial arts.
Yes,
Tell us a little bit about that, and as a wheelchair user and martial arts.
I do. I do Kenjutsu. It's called Shinkendo, which is real sword way. My first Aikido dojo, my teacher that I was under in Japan is probably the last living student of the founder. So it was pretty like intense. And then now it's just, I haven't trained in Aikido in probably like 15 years. I've done swordsmanship the whole time. And pretty much you learn how to use a samurai sword, how to care for it. And it's just a really good workout. Where once you learn the basics, all you need is a stick or whatever, and you can practice your cuts and whatnot. So I think from a disabled standpoint, once you get the basics down, you get a stick, you got open space, you can always train basically.
Wait, you're blowing my. I'm asking about martial arts, and I'm thinking like, well, first I got my white belt, and then I got my brown belt and yellow. No, you're going samurai sword on us and studying from people that only the last living legend. It sounds like a movie, David. So wait,
hey, we're in LA. We got the best teachers out here. It's like if you're in a major city, LA, Chicago, New York, you're going to get people from whatever you're into is going to go to the major hubs. They're not going to be in the sticks. And yeah, I mean, my sword founder, the teacher, he's Shredder from the original Ninja Turtle movies.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, that's awesome, man. That's
So
so.
how did you get yourself involved in this? And or is it just like, oh man, Ninja Turtles are out, and I want to get involved with knowing the samurai sword? So
Bob, you've never wanted to be a samurai or wanted to have a samurai sword? Like I feel
Dude,
like every child's like
already missing a pinky. You
turtles.
think I need to miss any more fingers? No.
Uh,
But
But
yeah,
how'd you get yourself involved?
when I was in art school, I was one of my ex girlfriend was from Japan, and her friend sent me an article about a guy in a wheelchair doing keto, and he talked about it stopped his pain. He got stronger. Everything was like working better for him. And then off that article, I brought it to the teacher that was in by my school, and just started. I thought doing Aikido anywhere is the same, but there's many different schools, and you got to be connected to the right school. Just you get the purest form and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it started me down a path. It really changed my life because I learned how to work on my body from the inside out, as opposed to just like my old football ways of like I'm going to lift a ton of weight and I'll look good, but internally I'm like all messed up. And that's what I've learned. Where if I kept that approach, I wouldn't have made it this far because the stress and your body and being in a chair, you got to combat the tightness, the pain, the discomfort, and the internal arts really helped me with that. We're just learning how to breathe and to relax. And you'd be surprised how much tension we hold in our bodies just from like pushing. You're just like, you're tense. I gotta use muscle, so you tense up as opposed to saying, I'm gonna use muscle but not tense. And it's a really kind of weird dynamic that you have to get used to, but it's very possible. And I think it's the key to like longevity because if you're not stressing and your body's not stressing, you live happier and longer. Where if your body is in stress, meaning tension, pain, and you're not dealing with that, it's only a matter of time before you fold.
Oh, I'm folding soon, baby. I'm folding soon. I'm just kidding.
Would you say that
I said
again?
I'm folding soon because I'm full of so much tension and stress and pain.
It's kind of like you hear, and David is a big football guy, so they say like, and thinking about our Super Bowl coming up with uh, Holmes and some of those other guys, their heart rate is very low when they're on the field, and
Correct.
they're releasing all that tension and not stressing about each and every play, and that's where you're going, shaking your head, going, "How are they doing this?" Because they're not stressed out like we would be.
Yeah. And then if you notice a football player retires, he has that look in his eye of sadness of like, I don't know what I'm going to do with all this aggression. Like, I don't know if you ever noticed, but football players tend to have a lot of problems in the off season. It's because we were trained from the beginning that, all right, you're mad at people, you're this, that, the other. You can take it out on the weights, you can take it out on the field, and you'll become a millionaire. Now you've done that for, from Pop Warner into the pros, and then
Anywhere
you make,
from yeah,
huh? And then
anywhere from
finally,
like 25 years of your life, and then boom.
yeah, and now you still have that aggression. I haven't played football in 32 years, but I still have to work out to get my aggression out because I'm used to like, oh, okay, I'm going to hit somebody. I can't hit anyone right now. So that's
Mhm.
where you know how it is. I noticed in SEI that everyone who was an athlete before their injury stays an athlete. And the people who weren't athletes are the ones that kind of struggle more. But I noticed the people who were athletes before, like you're a triathlete, correct? So you
Yeah.
still push. I always see you talking about you're pushing with your arm cycle, and it's just one of those things. It's an addiction. We can't get rid of it. It's just what I do.
So
You know what I
far,
mean?
I have 7 miles this week already since Monday, and what today's Tuesday. Yeah, so
Uh,
I've done.
What's
I
your what is
what's that?
your total for the week? What is your goal for the week?
My week goal every week is 10 miles each week. So um,
Oh,
yeah, so
yeah.
so I go out tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I coach at 7 in the morning. Then I go out for my 3.5 mile push, and then coach. So that's where and you're right. And I'm distance. I want miles. I need to go longer. I need to go further. So that's what I just have it in my head, and I think that's how you have it with your football style.
Yeah. And then having used you as an example with some of my friends that are quads, I'm like, I know a guy that's like 30 plus years, 5'6", that's still pushing a manual chair. And they think I'm lying. I'm like, no, he's real. Bobby Rohan, look him up.
Thanks, bud.
You do, Shawn, like I'm saying, like people don't see it. I mean, I know you two are like the only two that still remain true to the manual wheelchair situation, where everyone else, I've seen more paras in power chairs in the last 5 to 10 years than I've seen in the last 30. Like the last 10 have been paras leaving rehab in a power chair, which makes no sense to me.
Well, no, a lot of them actually, I've seen a lot of pairs recently that are in manual chairs, but they have smart drives and don't push.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
even,
the smart chair is not too bad, but I'm
but
saying
that's a high.
actual paras, arms healthy. I ripped my right arm off, and yeah, I left in a manual, and someone that has good arms and they're a para and they're leaving with a joystick, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Hey, let's not talk too much crap about the power wheelchair users. And I think that a power chair can
You're different.
offer a lot of independence that you might not otherwise have if you were like totally bound to a power chair or a manual chair.
No,
Um,
no,
so so I mean I hear you to I'm with you and hear you to a certain extent, but on every situation is different, and you can certainly maintain a healthy lifestyle in a power chair and also have maybe a higher level of independence that you wouldn't otherwise have if you didn't have that kind of chair. And one of the reasons I don't think power chairs were as available 10, 15, 20 years ago is just because they insurance and stuff, and like they just weren't as many readily available chairs for individuals. But I hear you.
no. Look, I look at every situation in this is different.
Yeah.
All I'm saying, someone who has fully functional, healthy arms and back and chest, leaving not
And
working
and there are
compared.
there,
I got
there
I'm
fully
and
talking about
functional,
para.
healthy arms,
About
back and
quad.
chest, baby.
No. I'm not talking about a quad. You notice I said a para. Para.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard
I
time.
know
I'm
you're
just giving
being
you.
devil's advocate, but just to clarify, like paras should not be with healthy arms using a power chair. If I rip one of my arms off and left in a manual, they can leave in a manual. That's it. That's all.
But I'm going to go with this, David, and about power chairs and some of those devices that they might, those guys could use. And Tom's right; it is about independence and
Yes.
longevity of your day. Of your, maybe it could be your work day, it could be your family life of going to soccer, and what a soccer field is to go watch your kids. You can't get anywhere unless you have some kind of power unit to get over those. And so I think back then, David, really power chairs were more available to the paras, but I think it was just grown up as you're this, you use power, you're that, you use manual. And I
Yes.
think
Yes.
nowadays we just have choices and we're listening to our bodies. And I think that's where we have to just go. If we're going to make, the balance of it, and what Tom is saying, that the only reason why you say to your friends that there is a quad out there is because I'm just a dumb son of a you know bitch that can't get over his head to use some power. I mean,
Like,
and now I am sometimes. I do have my scooter attachment and I like it, and I'm hand cycling because of power. So power is very useful too.
No.
And
Look,
and I remember once upon a time where you had the option to have both. I remember when my insurance paid for my power chair and a tie light that I could use and
Yeah.
and get around when I needed it, and when a power chair wasn't, as convenient or functional. And unfortunately, that's not the case anymore, where the insurance doesn't really allow that to happen. But I think there is a balance there within both, and if you have access to both, that's great. And
no. Let me clarify because I think I'm getting the bad para rap.
No, and I'm trying not to. Yeah, please
I,
clarify.
look.
quad rule, Paris drool. I'm just kidding.
Every situation is uniquely different. I keep to the code of the battlefield. If it works for you, keep it. If it doesn't, dismiss it. And that goes for everybody. I don't know what's going to work for the next man. And Bobby called me on it. Where I'm from the old school, where it's like you're a para, you do a manual. You're a high quad, you do a motorized. But like you said, choices. As long as it makes you independent, I'm all about independence. So
Yeah.
if that's going to make you more independent, then by all means. But
Yeah.
I just want to be clear. I'm not shaming no quadriplegic about using a power chair. I want to be clear on that. But
For sure, for sure.
just my old school, 5.5 months. I know that's long. Parents get what, 2 weeks, a month now. So I got a
Yeah,
different rehab experience.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, sure. And I was just gonna mention one thing. Like, I actually know a couple of pairs that like are older and then have to use power chairs because they have like heart conditions and things like that. So there are definitely circumstances you have to just,
Yeah,
like
no,
you
every
just said,
every guy's
figure out
different.
what works best for you. How are you gonna have your most
Yeah.
independent and happy, comfortable life?
But
So
also, where I think where David brought up too, in some point too, is David and I do have some of our old school, like, come on, you don't need all that power and stuff like that, and I know where you were coming, and bless your heart, David, I love you, and I know we weren't trying to make this um,
No,
we
and
weren't trying to draw we weren't
We're
trying
glad
to draw lines
I'm seeing.
lines in the sand and say step over this or anything like that. But bless your heart. I think I know where we're all coming from is about independence and stuff like that.
No, independent is the game. Is That's the only rule. Whatever's going to make you more independent and give you longevity and you can maintain, I support it. Whether that be a power chair, the power assist, I don't care. As long as it gives you more independence and more control over your life, I fully support it. I don't,
Yeah.
because that's the name of the game. How long can you stay healthy and how much can you do for yourself without needing help? And we all need help. I know I do, especially after nursing care. I'm like still rehabbing.
And you have been around for a while. How is your body? You mentioned that you were in a nursing facility for a couple years. I mean, what has your body gone through, and how long you been injured? Like almost what,
32.
25?
32.
Are you 30? Jesus Christ! Wow.
Yeah,
I
Bobby, you're
forgot.
4 years ahead of me. Trust me, remember? You were
Yeah,
4 years when I met you.
that's right. That's right. And
And
I'm
then,
about to hit 36. So yeah.
hey,
Okay.
I just turned 32. Mike Lee's 33. And then Adam was 4 years ahead. You and Adam are the same, correct?
Adam Garfield is, yeah,
Correct.
like he was 6 months after me.
Okay, yeah.
yeah,
So you guys were in the fours. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I told
So
Tom Hollis, go
how
ahead.
is your body? How is your body treating you though?
Well, I would say with the colitis, it's kind of been a long process because colitis made all my spinal cord stuff worse, and the can't tell me why.
So,
And
so tell us about colitis and what is colitis? How does it affect you as someone with a disability, as a paraplegic?
okay, colitis, it falls under an umbrella of irritable bowel diseases, and it's the inflammation of the colon and lower intestines. So it's basically an autoimmune disease where your body's attacking it for whatever reason, being stress or dietary requirements. Where if you have colitis, you can't drink alcohol, no spicy food, no sodas. Uh, no raw vegetables. All vegetables have to be cooked, and the only fruits I can eat raw are bananas, blueberries, strawberries, raspberry, and dew melon. And if you break the rules within 15 to 20 minutes, you're going to be violently sick for like the 48 to 72 hours.
Wow. Wow.
And as far as, go ahead.
And so sick meaning what? Just throwing up, diarrhea? What is
Basically, throw up blood from both ends, and it's going to probably take 48 2 hours to ride that wave out. You're going to live on your toilet basically, or commode or whatever.
wow. And how long have you had this?
Since 2020. So this
2020.
is by 5 years so far, and they don't know how you get it. There's no cure for it, but all you basically have to do is eat healthy, learn to deal with stress, and continue to be hydrated and work out to minimize your symptoms. And if you
do
don't, go ahead.
does like anti-inflammatory stuff help? Like if you do a lot of turmeric or like combination of a lot of different like anti-inflammatory things like, there's a lot of like foods and stuff. I mean, even cannabis can be anti-inflammatory. Does any of that help with the colitis, or is it?
It's pretty straightforward. Basically, you're eating bland food. The only food that made it through the cut was been my Japanese food, where I can eat anything Japanese. But as far as like Mexican food, we grew up in Southern California. I was like, I like hot sauce. I like
Yeah.
hot salsa. I like jalapenos and chipotle. And I like, you can't eat none of that anymore. It's like, damn, that sucks.
I mean, I try not to do like hot sauces or anything too often, just because it can still mess with me, and I didn't even have colitis. But like any kind of chili seeds or chili peppers or anything hot and spicy, I don't know. I try to avoid and keep out of my diet too.
Are you serious? I would think everyone could eat, like, before I got sick, I thought anyone can eat hot food and not have any problems that way.
Uh,
The only
it makes my bowel sensitive, so like it can, like if I go out and I eat even just like half a burrito or something, not a lot of food, but if I put some really hot sauce on it, it could stimulate my bowels to cause me to have an accident or something, or just make me feel not that great, make me bloated, like make me feel like just kind of if it doesn't like cause me to have an accident or something. So I'm not like bleeding or anything or throwing up or getting sick, but it can certainly make me uncomfortable or cause me to feel embarrassed or uncomfortable if I end up having an accident or something as a result of it.
oh yeah, like trust me, the human body, like basically how it was explained to me is your stomach is your second brain. All diseases start in the gut, and it's like if your gut is off in any way, we all can acknowledge this part. If your gut's off in any way, it changes the course of the day immediately. Because it's not like we can just run to the toilet or this, that, the other. I mean, it's going to be a mess or this or that. But I would say that with colitis, it has made me extremely disciplined about my dieting. I wasn't that disciplined eating. I was under the eat what you want and just work out really hard type guy. But now it's like, all right, I have to eat right. And definitely a
Mhm.
good discipline. But I was very shocked that they couldn't tell me why it affected my spinal cord because my stomach's above my injury. So why would it bother it? You know what I mean?
Right.
Huh.
No, and
It's connected, like I think even if it's above your level of injury, the nervous system is all interconnected. And I think sometimes, but again, I'm not like a neurologist or anything, so don't take anything I say.
and I think what Tom brought up a little bit of a point when he said I avoid hot sauce just in case, and it's not the fan of me, but I've heard a lot of people, not even just with hot sauce, they're like, I can't eat pizza anymore. And I'm like, really? And I'm one that can eat pretty much anything, and I'll be fine. If I overeat, it's like, ugh, you know. And then my first meals in the day are, eat and watch my blood pressure drop in the morning, and sweat and feel like shit for an hour, and then feel okay. But so I think everybody has a little bit of a sensitive stomach when it comes to it. Not everybody. I'm
Yeah.
the one that, my wife hates it because I live off green Tabasco sauce.
So
Everything.
you know my addiction.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I do. And my wife is salt, and then when I put everything on green Tabasco on her meal, she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Shush! You put salt on, I put this on." So, I'm not a big salt person. I'm a big green Tabasco, and it doesn't bother me. But some I know people look at me and they're like, "Are you crazy to do that?" In our chat, and Ken just recently got a colostomy, and he, after talking with me, do you have a colostomy, and would that help your colitis? Um,
It Well, basically, when you have colitis, you're more susceptible to colon cancer, and so at some point, I'm thinking in the future they're going to have to take out my colon or something, or redo it, take out part of my intestines and redo my colon at some point because every time you have a flare up, it weakens the lining of your colon, which makes you more susceptible to cancer. So I know at some point it's going to happen, but other than that, it's just do the best you can. Be disciplined in your diet, keep working out, stay hydrated, and Yeah.
Because then when you start getting rid of your colon, it's not a colostomy, it's called an ileostomy. And so ileostomy is 10 times worse, which is basically it doesn't process and it doesn't come out poop, it just comes out water. And it's like acid, and it's acid to your skin. And the reason why I know this is because my daughter has one and she lost part of her colon. And so, yeah, so ileostomy is 10 times worse than having a colostomy.
Okay.
Colostomy is just, you still have all your bowel, you still have all your colon. But once you start messing in with that colon, like you said, David, and yeah, it sounds like you're on the mark with, making sure you don't have those flare ups. The longer you can hold off, the better.
Yes, yes. Definitely a discipline.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you, David, how long do the flare-ups last? Like, how long does it take you to recover if you act like if you do slip up and eat something that does cause you to get sick? And
You said 2 to 3 days.
Yeah, like 2 to 3 days,
oh, okay,
and
so
continuously. It's continuous. Like from the point you ate, 20 minutes later, 72 hours, and then the fatigue. You can't do anything. You can only lay down. Like literally, the stress position of sitting up is too much. You just have to lay flat and just recover.
Hmm.
Is there medication? I think I've like maybe seen like some pharmaceutical commercials like advertising stuff for colitis. Is there medication that does treat it that makes it easier and more manageable, especially like if you happen to eat a food that flares it up?
Yes, they do have They have different medication. None of it really worked for me, but they do have medication that can kind of like stem the chance of having more flare ups. But I've learned just controlling my stress and working out. It's been like my biggest like savior. Where you take the pills after a while, our bodies they don't process it the same. So it's like I'm just getting more side effects than benefits. So, but I would tell people if they had it, definitely check that out first because they might work
So,
for you.
so when you take those pharmaceuticals, you're not flying a kite and doing fishing with your girlfriend and going, we're having such fun, as all those other pharmaceuticals. Like they're always about fun, and like, it just always cracks me up. Like they have this, bowel syndrome of, they can shoot blood out their ass at any time, but no, they're living life, like.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
that's
Yeah.
pretty epic.
Uh, does it trigger AD ever?
But I think
I,
you don't
well,
get any, do you?
hey, I'm actually I'm not even a spinal cord. I'm Colitis.
Oh, okay, my bad.
The spinal cord stops at T11, right?
Okay, so an lumbar injury is technically not spinal
It's
cord.
not spinal cord. If you looked at I have a spinal cord injury because I broke my back and my lumbar was damaged. Yes, but the lumbar is considered quadratus equina because the nerves can grow back.
What is
The
that word you're saying? I've never heard of that word.
quadratus equina
What
Quadricep.
is
Okay, what does that
So
mean?
is basically means I'll wait. Basically it's how can I put it? Oh fuck. Basically, quadratus equina
I
is because
I
you're
can look into it too myself.
yeah, you have to look it up. It's kind of hard to explain, but basically, your lumbar has the most pain sensors in your body because your legs are more than your upper body. And so, if you have any damage there, it will heal itself, but it only heals when you're sleeping. And then it depends on how bad did you injure your spine. But I did have a spinal cord injury, but I'm classified as a quadratus equina because it's in the lumbar.
Dang, all these lumbar and sacral injuries trying to claim spinal cord injuries. I'm just kidding. Uh,
I know.
I consider all levels
If I was
SCI.
L3, I'd be walking.
But in some ways too, I heard that being more painful of having that than a spinal cord injury, meaning because the nerves are so sensitive there that
Yes,
you have more nerve pain. Is that correct?
correct. Correct.
Yeah.
I don't get spasms. All I get is pain, and you could be fully exhausted. You've worked out. You ran a marathon. You did everything. You worked out your mind, body. You're dead to the world, and I can get a shot of pain, and I'm like up, Like, it's just what it is. I'm not gonna complain because everyone has their battles, but I would just say that sleeping for me is not like normal people. I don't really sleep because with my pain, and I don't want to keep taking the sleeping medicine unless I have to, because like anything, if you take a pill, if you take it every day, you're gonna need more of it. You know what I mean? Like your tolerance is gonna build. So
So
I only use that. I have to sleep because I have to be up the next day. Other than that, I just try to work out and deal naturally if I can.
Does anything like cannabis or anything like helpful, like any kind of pain treatment, like pain management, or
Yeah.
just work,
Oh, go ahead.
or do you just work out, or do you use other forms of pain
I
management?
use cannabis. Bobby knows my history. But yeah, cannabis works, but now it's just how can I put it? It then becomes like a financial thing. Like I'm looking forward to the time where cannabis is like protected federally. So then you can just go to your doctor and get a prescription as opposed to, you know, buying it yourself. And if you go to edibles, they don't make edibles strong enough. Like everybody says, "Oh, these are strong edibles," and you try them, and it's just like you're only like good
so
for 45 minutes, and you spent like $30. It's like, no, I'm good.
I actually have transitioned to edibles now. I still do the vape right before I go to bed. I do like because it honestly that's the only thing that'll help me really get to sleep and like get into like a deeper sleep.
Yeah.
But what I found, I've got two different brands I found, but they're like tablets. So they're you buy 1,000 milligram jar, and the tablets are 20 milligram tablets. So like I'll take one in the morning, one at lunch, two before I go to bed, and then I smoke. So I do like 80 grams a day, but so like
Yeah,
that's
no, I never heard of this. I need to buy this.
but and the jars are like $40 a jar that I'm getting them for 40 to 45. So it's $40 for about 1,000 milligrams, which will last me about 20 days, like one jar, or like 25 days depending on.
That's called my lifetime there, Shawn.
So like it's
Whatever
still
sounds
expensive. It does cost monthly, but I found that's the only thing I found to like legitimately buy the stuff and have it like legit products, not ones I from my friends that I don't know that are what the exact doses are and things. That's the only way. That's what I've transitioned. I can send you a link for these ones.
Please.
They're called
And you
Breeze tab, and they're like these little tiny tablets. So they're so easy to just pop. Like have. I'll throw them in my lunch pill, so I'll just take them like I'm taking all my other meds.
Ooh. Yeah,
Um,
that link because that sounds
it's
like
funny.
it
Go,
sounds more affordable. You spend $30 for what 100 milligrams,
Yeah, see that I can't. I never would be.
45
Yeah.
um, Sean and I haven't talked about it, but he's done almost exactly what I've been doing. I haven't smoked in like over a month. Shout out to Fizzle.
nice.
Um, and like not at all, like not even at night. And I've just been doing edibles, and I same thing. I got like these little tablets that are dosed. It's like 1,000 milligram container with like 20, 5 or 50 milligram tabs. And Darren mentioned RSO. Mine are actually RSO tablets. So it's a particular type of decarbonated decarboxylated cannabis called Rick Simpson's oil. And whether that's better than other kinds
I've
of
heard of Rick
edible
Simpson,
tablets,
but that's good, right?
I don't know, but I just have like kind of done what Sean's done. Sometimes I'll do them in the afternoon if I'm feeling particularly like struggling with pain or just having a hard time. I would just been trying to stick with them like only like right before I go to bed, only at night. And I don't know, 40 milligrams, 20 milligrams, 40 milligrams, that'll do it. That dab will do you. And it's been like very, very like functional for me. And I've just been, I don't want to be reliant on cannabis. Like especially like smoking it. Like I really want to be mindful of my like respiratory health in the long term. And I was a little worried about finding a solution that like works at like helping me manage my pain and my discomfort and stuff. But I don't know, like Sean mentioned, like I found some success with it. And I don't know, there's certainly other options out there for this stuff. But and I mean, I'm still all about cannabis and even smoking. Like, I just want to take a break for a while and ensure that like I'm not relying on it. Like, I want to be functional during the day and not feel like I have to smoke weed to just feel that way.
Yeah,
But,
man.
well, let me ask you this, because AD, but cannabis works for that, doesn't it?
For you say AD or ADD?
Lexi, doesn't cannabis work? 'Cause I
For
remember my buddy Adam. He was like, yeah, man, it works. Like, especially
Oh,
for like bio programs and whatnot.
for ADHD or what?
So AD, like autonomic
80?
dysreflex.
No, it does.
Yeah.
I get a
It
lot more. Well, I don't know if it fully helps if like I'm having a thing, but it helps if I'm having mild AD through the day because like some discomfort in my body. It does dull it and make it less than it.
It dulls it can dull it, but
It
it
does.
doesn't treat it. It doesn't treat like the underlying cause of the AD. So as soon as the edibles start to wear off, you start to feel the symptoms again if whatever's underlying is still causing the AD. And the thing with edibles too is I don't know, they take a while to kick in. So I don't know, it's not like I can do an edible. It's like help really mitigate my AD because I'm still gonna have to suffer with it for an hour, while like the edible is starting to kick in or whatever. So I wouldn't really say that it is necessarily like a treatment for AD, but it can certainly help curb some of the more extreme side effects of it when it does occur. But I don't know. I also have like nitroglycerin or something, in case like I get really intense AD and need like a quick way to help bring my blood pressure down and treat it
I,
quickly.
I have a question about that, Tom, with
Yeah.
nitro glycerin. Before you take it, did somebody or yourself take your blood pressure, and when do you feel the need to take it? Because I had an episode 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago that
Uh-huh.
I thought my head was going to explode, and I haven't had one of those. And I feel, and if you ask me, I think of myself as I live with AD every day. Like I have it right now. I just little bit of sweat
Me
going on,
too. I'm with
and
you. Like,
and I
I'm with
would
my
never right, and I would never. So, and the last time I had where my head was going to explode was the year 2000, or
um,
right at 2001.
I
New
wish
Year's
I
Eve. Yeah. So when would you take that? Or do you feel like your head's going to explode? Because to
uh,
me, that was the worst thing I ever tried because it brought it down too low too fast.
well, it's tricky, Bobby. I
Yeah.
am not a medical professional, and I really encourage
Right.
anybody that does deal with autonomic dysreflexia to speak with your physiatrist, your spinal cord injury doctor about it. Not the layman, regular family practice doctor, because they're not going to know what the fuck you're talking about and have no idea what to give you or how to treat it. But really talk to your neurologist or your spinal cord injury doctor that has some familiarity with it to get the final say on all this stuff. How I use it, it's just what you said, Bobby. If my head's exploding and I'm afraid I'm going to die from a stroke and I'm like on my way to the ER, that's really the only time I'll take it. I haven't taken it in years. And I've even felt like my head's going to explode. And I just decided to go to the ER and not do it. I have it on hand just in case I need to buy me some time to get some help to treat my AD or to get to the hospital or something. It's really like, and that's how my doctor said I should utilize it is like, dude, if your head's exploding and you take this, you need to be probably calling 911 or on your way um, to the hospital to treat whatever is causing the AD. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I get like head exploding dysreflexia too often. I'm very, very sensitive. My body's super sensitive to discomfort below my level of injury, and it doesn't take much to get me to that point where like my head's really hurting. Um, Nitro paste is another form of nitroglycerin that people have. I have like little pills that you just put under your tongue, and that's how I utilize them. And I haven't used
Mm.
them in years, but my blood pressure is like 200 over 150,
Oh,
and
oh,
I'm like scary, scary, scary AD. That's the only time I'd use it. I know that sometimes, I mean, it is February, so we could talk about this too. If you have sex, if you experience like climax as a quadriplegic, that can cause really extreme autonomic dysreflexia too. Now, if you're making some love and you have an orgasm and you get AD, you probably, it isn't what you want to do is like call 911 and head to the ER.
Oh, I do
There
it 10 times a
in
day.
in that instance, I know that a lot of individuals use nitro paste, which is, again, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a nitroglycerin paste that you just apply to your skin. It absorbs transdermally and it brings your blood pressure down. And usually that will just take care of it. It's not something that lasts a long, long time. Generally, if that's the reason for your AD. Now, everyone is different. Every spinal cord injury is different, but that's the only time I've ever heard it like kind of being commonly used at home and not in a hospital setting is if you experience AD as a result of like having an orgasm. And yeah, you just take a small dose. It does bring your blood pressure down crazy. And a funny side effect of nitroglycerin is it causes you to have a headache. So you go from having an AD headache to having a nitro headache.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I
yeah,
remember that part. I was like, no, I'm never taking this again. It almost felt like a worse headache too. And you said something great, Tom, about, make sure you're talking to your doctor about before
Yeah.
any of it. But Olivia says, hi, David. She said, don't, yeah, she said, don't forget the gloves with that stuff, because if somebody else is helping you with that and somehow touches themselves, they can pass out because they're not in AD and their blood pressure's fine, and so all of a sudden, whoop, they could crash just as bad.
And real quick, Quad Forager just pointed out that, or he said that 30 points over your baseline blood pressure is considered AD, which to me, I'm like, dude, I get that like 30 times.
120 over 80 is 30 points over Shawn's baseline 80. And that's like normal blood pressure for everybody else.
But it's so funny to talk, and maybe we're getting to that time when we got to wrap up, and we should do an AD. And sorry, David, because you're like, this is a show about you, and now we're talking about AD.
No, I'm learning something. Keep going.
Yeah, but one thing is, I have, I could be an AD and have normal blood pressure, where I know that my body's talking to me saying, you son of a bitch, I hate you right now. It's my hips, or it could be my bladder. It could be, I need a poop, or colostomy needs to go off. And, I'm taking my blood pressure and it's fine, but nope, I got the sweats. It's, it's doing this. I got a little bit of a headache and my blood pressure's fine. I don't know if anybody ever experienced that.
I would encourage everyone, regardless of your level, if you have a spinal cord injury and you deal with any kind of AD ever, invest in a blood pressure cuff. Bobby, you asked earlier, like I have a wrist cuff that I can just put on myself, and some days I'll wear it all day long, and I'll take it every hour or every couple hours, or if I start to feel a spike, like I'll take it and then I'll take it every 10 minutes until I'm feeling a little bit better. I They have really good cheap ones nowadays, like especially even a quad can use them. I'm able to just Velcro it right to my wrist. I don't require any help or assistance using it, and I can just like monitor it myself all day long. And Angry Quad said it: know your body. Enough said. Learn your body. AD was really, really scary the first 50 times that it happened. But after that, I was able to learn kind of the ebbs and the flows, more extreme AD versus more mild AD. I can learn that, oh, maybe this mild AD is being triggered by just sitting incorrectly, or I need to take my shoes off because, there's too much pressure on my feet, or maybe the heel of my shoes folded in that's causing me some trouble. I need to adjust my clothes, or just like what Bobby said, like I go through the checklist in my head. The biggest cause of AD for me is my bladder. Because I'm an incomplete quad, my bladder's hyper sensitive, and any kind of discomfort, whether it's a little bit too full or a little UTI or a bladder stone or whatever it is, my bladder talks to me, and it talks to me. Its language is autonomic dysreflexia, and I've learned the language now, so I know when it's more mild. I know when it's more extreme. I know what to do in all the instances, and still sometimes it hits me like a Mack truck to my dome, and I'll be okay 1 minute, and then I'm like, "Fuck, is my head going to explode and I'm gonna die?" And I mean, I know what to even do in that situation, but it can be really scary, and it can be difficult to manage on your own too. So, in those instances, be very mindful. That is why I have nitro on hand. I never ever use it, but in that instance, like I feel more comfortable having it, knowing it's like 2 seconds away versus like 20 minutes away if I have to call 911 or something, you know? And really, it's just buying me time to get to help and to keep me from stroking out in the meantime.
Yeah, that's great advice for anybody out there. And AD is super scary and complicated. Leon put in the thing like the story's unfinished when it comes to AD, where there's a lot more to be learned. And yeah, even Bobby's lived with it for 30 something years. You've lived with it for the 29 years. I've lived with it 21 now. Like we're all still figuring it out on some days. Like what
Someday, yeah, you're like, what the hell's, why my head almost exploded 2 weeks ago?
I do want to wrap up the show, but I was going to ask you guys real quick, both of you guys. And sorry, David, I didn't. Also, we're definitely going to have you back on to get more story and more everything.
Oh, no worries.
For you guys and even the quads out there, like you explained, getting a nitro headache from like your super like because it brings you so far down. I sometimes get such bad lows, like it feels like I call them deep lows. So it's like so deep, like I'll get like what I don't know if it's the same thing, but I'll get not an AD headache, but I'll get a like it's a different headache and it hurts and it hurts. It's like a low
Yeah,
headache I get. Is
and
that
I
problem?
yeah,
Get that?
yeah,
Okay.
I get it all the time. Like, especially when you eat, mine drops so low that it's like I did nitro pace or whatever, and it's just like
That,
what.
that pain response is your body communicating that something is very abnormal. When we're too low or when we're too high, I don't know, blood pressures, like it's really a killer. Like it can be very dangerous, whether you're too low or whether you're too high. And that pain response is communicating that to your body. So if you're, like I forget who commented it earlier, if you're 30 points below that average, that baseline for you, or 30 points above it, whatever it is, that's
Right,
your body communicating like, hey, like this pain response is telling you something's wrong. I hope that you take care of it for me, because if you don't, we might end up in a more, dire situation.
and when it comes to that low, this is me. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm just like, I'm trying to create blood pressure to pain in some way, by hitting myself. Or I ask my wife when we're driving and I start dipping a little low, pull the hair out of my leg. She's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because it will cause AD to make it go back up." So
And
we can have a whole nother discussion about this. I know it.
and
We
just like
should
the last
go ahead.
little thing is, nitroglycerin is a vasodilator. So that's what it's doing very quickly to your body, is it's dilating all of your blood vessels and reducing that pressure. Um, Cannabis is a vasodilator. There's lots of other vasodilators out there. Nitroglycerin isn't your, like, necessarily, it's a really functional one, and it happens very quickly and very extreme manner. That may not be the It certainly isn't the only option out there, but that's really what you're looking for when you're experiencing super high blood pressure like that, is some way to dilate your blood vessels to reduce the pressure. The number one name of the game is to treat the cause of the AD, whatever that discomfort is, but nitroglycerin isn't the only thing out there that can help treat it and help keep you more comfortable while you're figuring out the trigger for your AD. And this is where you really want to, like I said, talk to your doctor about possible options, medications, and treatments.
Yeah, and Quad Fogger said it. I know when that food is in the stomach, that's what's lowering the BP. And it sucks. Leon, I'm glad your nurse does the same thing as I asked for my wife. So definitely, definitely a good thing.
Yeah, Leah put in the chat. I'm gonna start trying to do the last Tuesday shows of the month as kind of open Q&As to talk about things that either we didn't get to talk about enough on the show or just anything that you might want to talk about.
Yeah,
So
that's a good
we can
point, Leah.
up a lot of this stuff the last Thursday of or last Tuesday of this month. So we will probably have to address that. And David, definitely gonna have you back on again, man. We didn't even get to talk about colitis that much because you just have. I should have had you on just to tell your story first once and then come on and do
No
more
worries.
ones. But we'll get you back on again soon, man, and get you to share more. We're going to do the sponsors and kind of shows coming up, and then I'll let you have the last word of the show, David. You can, whatever you want to leave the audience with for today, and then we'll definitely get you back here again soon. So
yeah, we need that diversity.
I mean, we definitely are an inclusive channel to everyone and all, so everyone should feel welcome, and it would be nice to represent more diversity than us, I guess. But that's why we got our ladies shows, we got golden oldies, we got aging women shows. We're trying to be inclusive to all. Okay.
And David, maybe I'll have you on our Rolling Over the Hill. You're getting up there.
I'll be 50 this year.
Yeah. So definitely have you on there. Talk about samurai swords the whole time because you're just like totally like you went on a new level.
Huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just real quick shout out our sponsors, Mobility Professionals and Urology Professionals. Mobility Professionals is a local DME here in Southern California. So if you need a wheelchair, you need a new commode, shower chair, standing frame, anything like that, please give them a call. They can get you set up, or even just tires, wheels, stuff like that. Give them a call. They can hook you up. They'll help with getting everything done through insurance. They got great people, and Dean, one of our close friends and community members, is at the company and does help with a lot of that. So they do know what you're dealing with. And then Urology Professionals is their sister company, but they're nationwide. So if you need catheter supplies anywhere in the U.S., they can ship them straight to your doorstep. So give them a call. All the information's in the description below. They can get you hooked up, signed up, and insurance and everything taken care of. So make sure to give them a shout out and tell them Live to Roll sent you. We appreciate it. We appreciate their continued support. So thank you to our sponsors. And this week, coming up on Thursday, we actually got Rolling with the Golden Oldies. So we got the ladies coming back on, talking about aging with a disability, but also this week they are actually talking about love, sex, self-love. I believe they're also talking about, because some of them have, like Ellen had gone through a divorce this year and stuff. So I think she's talking about a lot of different personal stuff they're going to be sharing. So check out their stories. And
when you said self-love, I thought you were talking about masturbating.
They might touch on it. I don't know. That is a form of
no pun intended.
And no, that is very much. That's the.
And if you know Ellen's one, I think you do.
So make sure to tune in for them on Thursday, and then next week, Bobby will be back. Actually, I'll have to update a banner and stuff. Got a little bit of a different panel going on for the Thursday now, bringing a couple more people onto the show. So, and even a Canadian. So now we're not all just Americans too. We got diversity, right?
Yeah.
He's another white guy, but hey, at least he's Canadian. All right, guys. And then we'll just do a quick shout out too, because the following week we will have Brianna, Nikki, Ashley, Maya, and Jessica on. So that would be another good one. I don't know what they're talking about. They may also do something with they're right around that Valentine's Day one. We're gonna do some probably some sort of self-love, love type of thing as well. They're doing. But so tune in on Thursdays. And we actually next week aren't going to do, I think I'm going to do our kind of, intimacy dating one the following week. Next week, we're actually doing a heart health one. So come back for some heart health stuff. It's actually Wear Red Week for the American Heart Health Association and stuff. So, and it's super important. And it actually, I was reading statistics. It does actually affect people with spinal cord injuries on a higher level
Yep.
than regular body people. So
Heart disease is the second killer of quadriplegics.
yeah, so
Wait,
super important, great topic for people. Yeah, and something we haven't really talked about on the show.
Since Shawn doesn't want to shout me out, I will shout myself out. If you want to come and join us tomorrow,
I'll get
uh,
ask you before if you were.
for it's not gaming with T Fizzle. Hopefully we can get these banners and these thumbnails figured out
I'll,
too.
I'm working on
But
all
it's
that right now.
gonna be cooking with T Fizzle, or skills for independent living with T Fizzle. And the gaming's not disappearing either, but I'm just gonna be, at least for the near term, doing some things that I think are a little bit more geared towards live to roll, and living skills and stuff like that. So yeah, come and join us tomorrow if you want to do some cooking. I really encourage you to maybe bring some ingredients of your own and play around and cook alongside me, or at the very least, just kind of watch, join in. We're just going to be going over some really really simple cooking skills and some kind of starting points, some places that I started and some things that I do regularly to help keep my belly full.
All right, yeah. So shout out. I do have to update that. I've been working on everything. I'm designing a new banner and a new shirt and a bunch of stuff. I'm trying to get ready for the Abilities Expo next month. So I've been doing a lot of that, but I will get the other banners. I actually finally updated the Golden Oldies cover one, but I didn't do their banner yet. So I got to do all the banners on update. So
And it'll be the same time as we started today. It'll be at 3:30. And yeah, y'all should get a notification. We'll make sure to have the video set up.
all right. So we will get that going for tomorrow. I got that set up. And for today, David, we went well over time, but it was just a lot to talk about, and you're just an awesome guy to talk to. So do you have anything, final word you want to leave the
I,
audience,
would-
everybody?
I would just say learn to breathe, learn to deal with stress, and take care of your mind, body, and spirit. And what worked for you, keep doing it. Whatever's going to keep you independent and healthy, do it. And what may work for you may not work for the next guy, and vice versa. Just as long as you're independent and you're healthy, Godspeed and good luck.
All right.
Absolutely.
That
Well
is
said.
great. It's a great, yeah, that's something good to leave everybody with. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. We do appreciate you. Make sure to follow David on Instagram if you want. I did put your Instagram in there. If you, I know you're not super active with posting on there, but
No, I actually
follow.
going to start posting my art, so it's coming up
Okay.
this next
All right,
couple of
so
months.
make sure to follow him on his Instagram. Start checking out some of his art and stuff. And thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you. Live to roll, everybody.
Live to roll.
Lift the roll.